What's up, guys? So today's episode is going to be around physique exercise selection. We're actually going to be in Sydney on December 2nd out in Penrith to present a workshop for both strength exercise selection and physique exercise selection. We'd love to see everyone in the area come down. If you want to head to the website, which is www.stcfitlearning.com/events, you'll be able to find tickets. And we look forward to seeing you all there. Enjoy the episode. As always, don't forget to screenshot, share, and subscribe. Cheers. So I've just checked, Jace.
Yep.
Consignment age in Australia. Oh, where's it gone? 18 to 30. So we're safe.
Okay.
We don't have to go. It's all right.
When did they stop that anyway?
Conscripted, I mean. Is
Yeah.
the word I'm looking for.
Because I was like, I actually was just going to ask what consignment meant, and then I didn't want to sound stupid on the podcast. So
I'm the stupid one that said the wrong word.
Well, I was really challenging my growth mindset right then. I'm like, hey, it's okay to be stupid, man. Like, you'll learn from it. You'll actually grow
This
out
is a
of
growth opportunity.
Yeah. But I was like, fuck it. I'll just pretend I know what he's talking about. Conscription. Yes, I know that word, conscription.
Able-bodied men between the ages of 18 and 30 were called up.
What's able-bodied? Like, is there you just got to have them all together? Like all your bits?
There would be a level of... This was UK, but I assume...
So there'd be like a fitness test?
Maybe not even that.
I
just
doubt
like,
that, because people would just fail it.
Yeah.
Like, I would.
Yeah, and
Like,
it'd just
sorry,
be...
guys, I'm not courageous enough to go to war. Like,
If you had something that would be...
what's that?
Yeah, something
okay.
that would put other people at risk.
Yeah, well, that's it, because it's all about like your teammates, right?
Yeah, because I think even like asthma and shit, and then
Mm.
people would like run around and try and like find a doctor that say they have asthma.
Yeah, I would do anything to not go.
Oof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't care what people think of me. Yeah, I
I'm
wouldn't-
not going.
Nah, unless I'm the dude that like flies the drones. That's it.
Mm.
Yeah.
I
couldn't
wonder
do
if that'd be
anything else.
different this time around, because that obviously World War II was the last time we had it. Whether it or did we have? No, we wouldn't have for Viet. It would have just been.
So are we on the other side then?
What do you mean?
So
Yeah, we're too old.
Yeah, but
We're safe. It's fine.
I don't know how I feel about that now. Because
So
it's
you're
like, so it's like your best days are
You're
past
useless
you.
now.
Your best days are past you.
Yeah.
So we don't want you anymore.
Maybe we are just we are too important to society now.
Oh, I like that. Oh, that.
But I wonder.
I
I
would look-
wonder if that would be different this time around, because like times are very different now.
18
compared
to
them.
30
Would
is-
it just be? But would it just be 18 to 30-year-old men, or would it be
Mm.
men and women now? And then what would be
Yeah.
the?
Well, yeah. Let's not have that chat.
Yeah, I'm not going.
It
there.
should be.
I'm not going.
It
there.
should be. It
But-
should be in this day.
But
and
you
age.
know, like
No, well, I guess women. They're probably thinking about like the population. Like they have babies. We don't.
well, that's protect the women and children to secure your future as a
Yeah,
nation.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of makes
They
sense.
they should have the choice to go.
Yeah, but I think they should definitely send Ruby, not me.
Yeah, fucking yeah, 100%. It's like they need.
There's actually
people to,
probably
like,
a couple of my clients.
They
And I'd
need
be like,
people to, like, cups of tea.
I'll
like,
come.
Yeah, that's it. Like blankets.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna.
back
thought you were gonna
rubs.
say that the women should come and make cups of tea.
Nah,
and then I
fuck
was like,
that.
no, he means him.
No, back rubs. I'll start stretching already. I'll take care of them.
Go get a massage degree.
That's a bit weird though. It's like I'll take care of the women whilst all the men are away. But I will.
Yeah, it got weird.
I'll still do it. If someone's gonna do it, I'm willing to do it.
So if you don't know what the fuck we're talking about, we just woke up to the news that Russia. The headline is weird. An errand, like a misguided missile or something,
Yeah.
was launched from Russia into Poland, which
Yeah.
is not a laughing matter, but
Everyone's being very politically correct about it too, like feared to have landed. So unconfirmed report.
yeah, couple died. So
Yeah, that's pretty shit.
who knows? It's scary shit. to
Now
be
Poland's like when you have like it's like you're in, when you sign up to Fitness Australia, you don't know what you get for
Mm.
your, and no one knows what they get because
Yeah,
no one
yeah.
reads the book.
Yeah.
And it's like it's for when you like need, some advice or
Yeah.
maybe you need some counsel.
Yeah.
So then you like something happens and then you're like, oh yeah, I've got that Fitness Australia. So that's the same as like Poland being part of NATO right now. They're just like, no, fuck you guys. Like we need the gas. And then
Yeah.
now they're just like, hey
Yo,
bro,
Yo, you got some bombs.
hey bro. It's like, Come on, man. Let me get my money's worth out of this membership. Anyway.
Yep.
Crazy times. Crazy times.
Scary. But if
Very.
we don't make light of it,
Yeah.
we'll just feel bad all day.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true. Do I look different? Do I look hard and tough?
Oh, your head. Your sky.
My eyebrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Don't I look tough? I feel like I look tough. I feel like
I had to search real hard to find anything that was different.
I feel like but you've already seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know when you have something on your face, like you can see people staring at it. So like, so look at me. So if I look at something on your face, you can see me looking on your face, not at you, right? Yeah. So like lately, I've been really conscious of it.
Right.
So when people talk to me, I can see they're looking at it, and then I just lose track of the conversation. I'm like, because I'm still fucking staring at my fucking eyebrow.
Yeah.
Dog. But yeah.
So
small cubicles.
You have to tell a story.
Yeah. So we went.
Jason has an enormous. If you're an ear people, Jason has an enormous gash.
Oh, it's split
out of his head.
I separated
how he's not got 7 stitches in it. I
separated my eyebrow.
It was so tough. He just glued it with super glue from at home.
Nah, not even. It just
held it together.
Bit of a napkin from the movies. Bit of into the eyebrow. So we went to the movies. I was really excited too because I like the movies. And I went to the toilet, and I was like, I knew it was like a part of the movie where it was dropping, that were just like a bit of filler.
Yep.
So I was like,
time to hustle.
I've got to go.
To hustle.
Yeah, I don't want to miss out. So I may have been moving a bit quicker than normal. I had to use a cubicle, and when I went to get in the cubicle, it was already fucking small. And I'm not a big person. I don't care, body dysmorphia, whatever. I'm 5'7", man, and I'm like fucking 90-something kilos. Like, I'm not a huge person. There's people way bigger than me. So anyway, when I went to leave, you had to like get the door and like and then pull it, but step back for the door to open. Literally opened like 2 inches from the dunny, man. Yeah. Yeah, it was so tiny. Nah, it's not good at all. So I pulled it out, and I went to put one foot in front to get out the door, but I kicked the door with the back foot, the trailing foot. So the door went flying forward, hit my front foot, and just smacked me straight in the face, man. Like, so hard. And, like, no one saw it, but, like, I must have, like, just went, like, Yeah. So, a couple of people come around the corner and just looked at me, but I just, like kind of leant over, and I just, like, kind of put my hand on my head, and I just kept walking. I'm like, fuck it. Like, I've just got to go now. Right?
Abort.
Yeah. So,
and I'm going to miss the movie.
So I washed my hands and I walked out, but I was looking down and I was washing my hands. So I didn't look in the mirror at all. And I was like, I just got to get the fuck out of here. Yeah. It's embarrassing.
Because you're embarrassed and just shrunken human. Wash my hands, get 100%.
Out of here. It's like this dude just walked into a fucking door. What a moron. And as I was walking back to the movies, I could just feel like this little trickle of like fluid just coming down my eye. I'm like, yeah, fucked. Like from that.
Yeah.
And I walked up to Steph and I'm like, is my eyebrow bleeding? She's like, what the fuck did you just do? I'm like, I just walked into the door and then the toilet. I was like, it's a long story. It's hard to explain. And I couldn't really piece it together, like how it happened.
What happened, yeah.
She's like, did you just walk into it? And then she's like, someone close it on you, like, or open it on you. And I'm like, I kicked the door and it hit me in the face. And anyway. So yeah, it was like, she's like, oh, we've got to go. You need to go and get stitches. I'm like, fuck, it's like this little gash, bro. Like it just hit me in this perfect spot. But the people next to me obviously were like talking about it because they were just staring at me. And I had this like tissue on my head like for the rest of the movie. So shit. It fucking hurt
What
too.
cinema were you at?
The Reading one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So less likely to have had a fight in the bathroom than if you're aware of me, but...
Oh, yeah. I feel like just the movies in general. It's just like 15-year-old kids that just want to kick the shit out of anyway.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Shut up.
Yeah. Oh, that's the only thing about going to the movies these days. Like, you got to choose your time because it's like, fuck, man. It's just hard with like the younger generation that once you get 45 minutes in, it's like, I can't sit here and pay attention.
Yeah.
They start throwing shit and making noises. Some of it's pretty funny, but like the whole time, it's like, come on, bro. Yeah. But anyway, that was my trip to the movies. So now I've got this hardcore scar to deal with.
It's really tough.
Yeah. I'm actually really self-conscious about it, so I had to tell that story. Make myself feel better.
So now it's on when people see it on the episode.
I put
under this lighting, it's barely noticeable.
I put a post up on Instagram and I had to like film myself. And I'm like, I can see it. I fucking see it. And I'm not the kind of person to like cover it up with a bit of makeup and shit. I'll probably make it look worse.
Yeah.
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 But anyway.
So what do you think of the fluff, Jace?
Fuck, man. When you were like, oh, my face is itchy, I was like, fuck you talking about? Like, and then you're like, oh yeah, I've grown out my stubble.
No, I said I haven't shaved in 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Excess peach fluff.
As, like, I know myself and Aaron would have reacted in the same way and just went,
This guy.
Great job, mate.
No, I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it.
I don't really notice people's facial hair. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Like
I think you'd notice if I shaved it now.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe not.
No, I think so. It'd have to be like, you know.
Yeah.
So just keep pushing, see what happens.
Yeah, I'm just going to see where it lands. It's
Yeah.
trying on the
Do you
sides.
have to go anywhere important soon?
Yeah.
Oh, we got a seminar in 3 weeks and
Yeah.
an event to hold, but whatever.
That'll be right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are you going to get a haircut for it?
I'll get a haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just a haircut and just a shit manicure beard.
I think it's important to
What a combo. It's like me today with my shorts and my long sleeve shirt.
I think I'll clean it up for Christmas.
Yeah, okay.
But
You know what you need to do? Not you in general, like I'm attacking you, but people, you just need to make sure that like the neck is like cleaned up. Because you don't want to have like this like, you know, disheveled hair running up your Adam's apple and just because it gets a bit crazy.
yeah,
Just going around that.
mine's not too bad. It doesn't come too deep.
Yeah, you still need to do it.
Yeah.
Still need to do it.
I'll have to go
Nice
back
little
to the
clean up.
barber, Jason.
I've been shaving my own beard and I reckon I'll do it better.
Really?
Yeah, because
I'll just come to your house then.
I've done enough. No, for myself. I can do yours. It's easy. It's like it's not. It just needs a blade. But I did enough visits to the barber to assess what he was doing to do it myself.
You shaving your own head still?
Yeah, that's easy. I can fade it and everything now.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's like I've clocked it.
How do you do the back?
Nah. So I can't fade the back of it, but I can fade the rest of it.
Okay.
But I don't really like going the skin fade. I think I've grown out of it. The skin fade. I think I'm done.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm done with it. But yeah, like this whole time, this dude's like cutting my hair and like didn't realize that I was just like trying to work out how to do
Just
it.
learning.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so you do number 1 and then you just do a little flick. Number 2, another little flick.
Yeah.
And you do it down to here and then you get the big one.
Yeah.
So I was just working it out.
Sorted.
It's the Maltese in me.
Mm.
How can I get this cheaper? Do it myself. Says the guy that cracked the shits on the weekend and just went and bought a brand new fucking lawnmower because he was sick of it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That was a traumatic experience. So my mum gave me the lawnmower before she moved. And it was like kind of like a token gift, but she just didn't want it.
Yeah.
Because it was fucked. So like the catcher doesn't actually sit on it. It just like every now and then if you hit a little bump, it falls off. It's a fucking, I'm getting sprayed with grass.
Like every mower ever at some point has had like an Oki strap.
Yeah.
holds it
So
on.
this is the point where I cracked it and went and bought this lawnmower. So I thought, I need to secure the catcher to the mower.
Mm-hmm.
So I used one of the dog's collars.
Mm-hmm.
So I like looped it around and put it on. I was like, sweet, it's made out of like nylon rope, you know, that material. It won't come off. It didn't come off. But what happened is, you know, the clips, they only go on one way.
Mm-hmm.
So they're supposed to perfectly clip on and then you press
yeah.
them and pop out. I managed to turn one of them upside down and force it in because I have zero finesse. So I couldn't get it off because when I was pressing the button,
So once the catcher was full, you were fucked.
yeah. And then so I had to cut the fucking collar and it was like one of those fucking bougie dog collars.
Yeah.
So then I was like, this is fucking stupid. Like I shouldn't have to do this.
Yeah.
You should not have to go through what I'm going through to mow your fucking lawns.
Yep.
So I thought, fuck it, it's time. Steph was out. I just said, I'm going to buy a lawnmower. And then by the time she said fine, I'd already done it. I went to look and then this guy was like talking to me about it. Fucking, there's nothing better than someone telling you all of the solutions to your problems when you're really emotional about it.
Yeah.
Because you will buy anything.
Everything, yeah.
It's like, He's like, this is just press and start. Like, it just comes off. You put it in the bin. Like, he was saying everything I wanted to hear. And he's like, oh, yeah, this will give you like 50 minutes charge. It'll do this size block. That's my size block. No fuel, just press and start. Oh, awesome. I don't have to fucking learn how to start the mower. Like, yeah, I was like, I'll take it. It's like, he even put it on the trolley for me.
Good man.
Yeah.
Bunnings?
So, yeah.
Quality.
Yeah, well, when you actually find a staff member, that's good. I feel like at Bunnings, there's like a million people that work there, but they just gravitate away from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great job for those people that like don't want to actually do any work, so they spend their day looking like they're busy.
Yeah. I feel like people pretend to be extra happy when they work for Bunnings. It's like part of the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Bunnings is the best.
Yeah.
I reckon so.
They have like it's good internal marketing.
Mm. It seems like not a bad place to work if you didn't want to do much.
Yeah, but like even just like you said, everyone that works there is okay, like happy working there.
Yeah.
I don't hear anyone that works at Bunnings that like complains about it.
Yeah, yeah. It'd be the best place to work and do nothing. All you'd have to do is walk around with like intent on your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when I used to work at Crown for a very, very short time, casino for people who don't realise, I used to work in like a function room. So we used to do like the fucking Brownlow and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Call the card as well. And all you needed to do was put hold a tray, a piece of paper, and a glass.
Done.
Mate, you could fucking walk around all day. No one would say shit. All you needed to do was just pick the pace up when you walk past someone.
Yeah.
Important. Because the rest of them wouldn't care. So if you saw like a manager, you just walk real quick and you're just like, oh, yeah, back to you in a minute. And then you could do that all fucking day. One time I walked with intent with a tray to the cafeteria and just ate at the buffet and then went back to work. This is back before I obviously was
a grown up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fresh, like, I don't know, I think it was like 18, maybe 19. Yeah. So yeah, good times.
Yeah, the old part-time jobs. Did you have high school jobs?
No.
That was your first one, hey?
Nah, so I managed to thrift my mum by saying I'll study really hard and get into university if I don't have a job.
Yeah.
And it was like paved pretty well because like my brother got a job at like 15, my older brother, and then he just like stopped going to school and, you know, like just making money and whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, so just mum was like, so I just like leaned on that. Not that I would have done it.
Yeah,
But I just leaned on it. I'm like, oh, you know, I just don't want to like work all the time and like affect school and shit. So I had this like allowance of like $20 like when I was in high school.
Yeah.
A week that I used to get like eight
Jim Beam cans.
I think we used to buy is it Woodstocks? Yeah, we used to buy the Woodstocks, yeah, of course. So you got to stretch it out.
Yeah, yeah. No.
Yeah, so I managed to do that.
I said ugh because I remember doing it and drinking them.
I did all right. Mum and Dad bought me a car. Got, you know, my alcohol paid for and
Living
shit.
the
Yeah,
dream.
Mum was like filling my car up and shit at one point. It was good. Yeah,
Very
I squeezed it. However, it did work out because I went to uni, got a job. But once I got a job, didn't ask for a cent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. What about you? Did you work?
Yeah, I did Coles, which was awesome. That like didn't have to do fast food.
I applied for jobs. I just never got them.
Yeah, grocery boy at Coles, and then like did like Sunday nights and the school holidays, overnights.
Yeah.
Set up the end and the specials.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Accidentally like hang up the Chicos thing, and they always seem to be ripped, those ones. Unfortunately. Those and the Doritos seem to...
We did that on work experience.
Yeah.
Just get the blade knife and just fucking dig into the box. Oh, shit. Sliced open 4 packets of Tim Tams. Maybe that's why I didn't get a job after it. Because everyone's like, it's a shoo-in. You do work experience at Safeway, like you get a job at Safeway.
Yeah.
We did not get
your
jobs
hourly rate is less than what you ate.
Yeah. Well, we're getting paid $5 a day. It's fucking slave labor, man, when you think about it now, yeah? $5 a day. And I worked for 8 hours.
So here's a question for you. On that, I saw a reel yesterday I thought was interesting. What's up, guys? You're listening to the STCfit Learning Podcast, brought to you by ourselves. Feel free to go check out our website, so stcfitlearning.com. On there, we have a bunch of free resources, including how to niche your business, how to actually sell during consults, and a free programming template, plus our business scorecard, which you can go and take and see how you stack up in the industry based on what we think is elite and how to become the best trainer in your gym, in your town, and in the industry. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you take a screenshot and tag us, we really, really appreciate it. It really helps get this message out to help improve our industry and keep people in their personal training careers. Enjoy the app. This guy said that if Elon Musk asked him to go work, so super wealthy guys doing really well. He said if Elon Musk asked him to come and work for him for free for a year and he had to clean his toilets, he would do it at absolutely no hesitation. Just to be around someone like that to learn for the year. Would you do it?
No. Wait. The person that cleans the fucking toilets isn't hanging out with Elon Musk. So that has to be the deal.
That was the deal. That if you get to be his like right hand,
personal slave,
you would be his right hand for a year.
Yeah, well, this guy's wealthy though.
You're gonna clean his toilets.
But so I'm painting this scenario, right? This guy's already wealthy, so doesn't need to work. So he could. But what if you were
assuming he probably
I just bought a house. I just bought a house, man. I just bought a house, bro. How am I supposed to pay for my house?
A year with Elon Musk. Was he selling?
Yeah. Oh, I think I'd probably get divorced, but
a year with Elon Musk. Sell your wife.
Sorry, Steph. Yeah, that's a tough question.
So the message of the video was just this is how poor people think. Everyone who's poor is going to in the audience be like, no, fuck that. You should be paid, blah, 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 blah. And no one's willing to actually do stuff that he said experience is worth way more than what money will ever provide you.
Yeah, you wouldn't even be able to pay for an hour of this man's time.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah, that's a tough one. It's a tough one.
So I wonder what you come out of that year.
Asked me 6 months ago, I would have said yes.
Yeah.
Just I bought a house.
The big house. Yeah.
Secured myself for 30 years of debt.
Yeah.
I'd still probably do it.
My wife would be upset, but I'd do it.
Steph can take care of it. Yeah, she can find someone else temporarily.
Yeah. Or maybe we'll just say you have to take us both, and then Amy can live with Steph.
That's pretty good
for you.
Yeah, we could rent out I could rent out my house.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that as an option.
Problem solved. Done.
How would you live though? You just clean toilets? Is your expenses paid for? Do food?
I think that it was just that's the only.
Oh, so it's not an actual
stipulation.
Deal.
Is my toilet needs to be clean.
Yeah.
But everything else is you're just around.
I'd do it as long as I could get fed and
So as an interesting example, so I've told this story heaps on the podcast that a client of mine took me to France.
This story again. No,
fuck. Jason's heard it 1,800 times now.
But we that's all we do is tell each other stories.
So I remember when he asked me, do you want to come to France for a month? And I was like,
fuck yeah.
Yes, I do. And he said that he'd asked his previous trainer the year before, and she had asked for not only to be paid while they were there, but also an increase, so then she could pay her stuff at home. So say you were getting paid $300 a week.
Yeah.
She was like, no, I need 800.
Because you got to pay
come.
bills at home and then obviously pay when they're away.
Yeah. So she was like, no, you need to pay me $800 a week to come to France for free for 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's pretty that's pretty gutsy.
Yeah. She didn't go.
Shock.
So I went unpaid and had a structured personal training business. So still got paid by my clients while I was away.
That story, I tell people that story too, because it's people think that's what happens when you become a personal trainer.
Yeah.
You just travel and what else? I know one person.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for fucking 13 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's still pretty cool.
And even then it's just it's the wildest. But yeah, in the Elon example, that trip changed my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember sitting at a table in the corporate tent in fucking Timberland runners jeans and an STCfit hoodie with I reckon there was $50 million sitting at the table. 4 people. So I was just I can't afford to like eat. But tell me more about
Can't afford your glasses.
Tell me more about your investment strategies. Fuck.
Yeah, it's sick.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, the message is good. Of like making sure you hang around people like that.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah. So, Sydney.
Yeah.
December 2nd.
Yep.
Penrith. The STCfit Learning show is on the road.
Yeah, we're going up for the weekend.
Talking exercise selection.
We are. Are you talking exercise selection too, or you haven't gotten there yet?
Yeah.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
It's going to be a nice little practice for your...
It'll be a nice test for the content.
Who's paving the way first? Who's the snowplower?
Yeah, so I've been thinking about that as well because, like, obviously when we do the movement assessment stuff, we start with movement, and then once you have the movement assessment, then we go to the muscular assessment of a movement, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I don't know. I haven't structured mine enough, and I haven't read yours to see how mine will bridge.
I haven't read mine. It keeps changing.
So, yeah, I think mine's going to be, like, I've mostly written mine a couple of years ago. I just need to finish it through a few thoughts and structure it. But mine will be more around, like, making people, how to select exercises based on how they're moving in the gym.
Yeah.
And predominantly around the squat, bench, deadlift, but the rules can be applied to everything else.
Yeah, you'll be able to add mine on top of yours.
I think so.
Yeah, because
I think the thought patterns of mine will apply to yours, and then you'll be able to then add. So, like, I'll go, if you're shit at this part, I look at it in different ways of failing. So you fail from strength, you fail from skill, or you fail from like a dysfunction or something like that. So it's like, if you're failing from strength, then we need to do this. If you're failing from skill, then we need to do this intervention. And then you'll be able to say, like, okay, well, with that sorted, exercise selection is going to be more based on, like, probably a needs analysis of the individual. Where are they strong? How do they? What movement patterns do they tend to favor and lean into? And then how does that represent?
Just taking notes on this. Add it all to my presentation. Can you just make note of the time there, Tam, so I can listen back to this?
Yeah. Well, that's what I would imagine anyway. It's just like you look at me and you go, cool, so your lower pecs are well developed because you barbell bench press all the time, but you have poorly developed upper chest. So exercise selection is going to be with that in mind. Also, narrow rib cage, long arms, all that kind of shit.
Making more notes. No, I'm kidding. I've got notes. I've actually got notes.
So what is because I just made that up based on what my perception of what you were going to do is. How close am I?
It's pretty close. It's pretty close. So the most important thing that I wanted to do was just create frameworks for decision making because it speeds the process up, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, well, first, like, let's have a look at what a good exercise is for somebody whose goal is like just aesthetics. So like, the goal is purely to look a certain way. So we don't have to have a selection bias then, and then go through a series of steps to select movements and piece together a program. So in terms of like that process, got to go down to the bottom here. So firstly, we would start at like what the person, where the person needs the growth or where the person needs the development. Is it like a global kind of, just we want hypertrophy everywhere, or is it a localized development to, balance out a physique? Or, sometimes we don't want to balance out a physique. Sometimes we want to develop a physique in a certain way, especially in this day and age. Like,
big glutes.
Yeah, girls want to be bottom heavy. Some of the boys, they just want fucking massive chest. Sometimes they just want huge arms and shoulders. So, in some instances, when you're working with people, if like that's what they want, we want to facilitate that. So then, that sways the decision making because when it's a localized area, you're like, okay, cool. So now we have to focus just, in these specific areas and then do the minimum amount of effect after that with the rest of the body.
Yep.
Where if it's more of a systemic thing, then you can potentially lean on, certain exercise types for, I guess, like, getting more tension exposed to those muscles, like free weighted movements and stuff. And then, kind of just sprinkling in some really centralized work after that.
Yeah.
So that's the first place that I would go. Before that, you could think about exercise history. So that it is important to understand, what that person's done in the past, because, like yourself, it's like, okay, well, coming from a powerlifting background, most of the things that you're going to be doing are heavily squat, bench, and deadlift focused, even accessory wise. So it's like, okay, well, how many times has this person really done like a deep kind of squat or a bench press with their back flat? And, how many times have they been, protracted or, flexed in the thoracic portion of their spine and stuff, like all of those things. And this is like under tension, progressively overloading it, not just like, I do these things.
Camel before the workout.
Yeah, well, yeah. And it's like, I've got a couple of reaching movements and a couple of pulling movements to just offset the function or the dysfunction that I get from a prep of powerlifting that's so hyper specific. So then that would give you, along with analyzing their physique, a bit of an idea of what they've done traditionally. And then you can have a think about, okay, well, how does this person move in the gym? Because most people that come from powerlifting background, like as soon as they get into every exercise, they're just like shoulder blades down, rib cage extended, and it's like, okay, everything that I have to do is like this, and that's going to affect, how you develop your muscle tissue.
Yeah,
because muscles don't grow evenly across from one end to the other.
Yeah.
One portion to the other portion, or one division to the other division. So that gives us really good information that where we position ourselves in relation to the load and how we move will influence how that muscle grows in terms of its shape. Even just anecdotally, which they did for ages. So like history is really good as well.
So before we keep going, I just want to give you guys a little message about our Standout PT program. So Standout PT has been designed for personal trainers who want to sustain a long-term career in fitness, but right now they're sick of chasing clients, they're not making enough time for money, and they're super frustrated with the results that they're getting in their business, and they can't see themselves being here in 3 to 5 years' time. If you want to know more about the Standout PT program, head to STCfitLearning.com, head to programs, and all the details are there, and you can book in your free exploration call where we can have a look and see whether or not that would actually be a suitable program for where your business is at right now. And back to the episode.
So then after that, you would need to consider the skill set of the person, of the lifter.
Yep.
Because it's all good and well to know all these crazy movements, these cool hyper-specific movements that get, like deep stretch positions and, the muscle really short, or, it's a mid-range exercise that, creates a lot of ability to load and create expose muscles to mechanical tension, but you need to be able to fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like I got a client at the moment and we haven't squatted for a while and now we're squatting again, but we still have goals to build the physique.
Yep.
So we're not really kind of getting a great stimulus from squatting.
Yeah.
We're just learning how to squat again. So we have to do something like a leg press or, some other movement. And I'm like, you fucking send it on this movement.
Yeah.
Like,
it's interesting, like with the, obviously even the podcast has been concurrent heavy, but the industry seems concurrent training heavy at the moment. How many lessons you can take from just that? Like someone wants to get stronger at a particular lift, but wants to look better too, which is probably every client in the gym, wants to see strength progression and physical change. And this whole concurrent ideas, like they're concurrent goals because they're not the same thing. They're trained differently. So that way of thinking of like, okay, well, we've got some squat, but the stimulus is probably not ideal here to get jacked. So we're going to do that somewhere else.
Yeah, and it's just like, then that's where designing the program is important. It's like, do the skill, I want to work on this particular component at the start of the session.
Yeah.
Fatigue is low, the ability to perform is high, and then just get the dose right. Like, don't do too much, don't do too little. Don't do high rep work, expose them to fatigue, don't do a million sets. Yeah. So in my opinion, in that case, especially with people that are trying to drive hypertrophy, 2 to 3 sets, 6 reps, 8 reps, in terms of time and load relative to the adaptation that we want to achieve physically, ticks all the boxes.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, cool, then go into a movement that's, intense, repeatable.
Yeah.
It exposes tension to the target tissue, and that person can get after it. So
low skill complexity.
Skill is really important. And then you can have people that can do that on a squat though.
Yeah.
As well, and that's one thing that I do talk about in the segment of the module and the presentation is like the misconception of stability and motor unit recruitment and those kind of things that, how they're supposed to overlap. So people have taken stability. It's been defined in resistance training perspective or realm as the ability to resist force.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, all right, if I have high amounts of stability, my ability to resist force is greater. So the force being applied on the structure is going to be really high. And if I can't overcome that force, that means that I'm just not strong enough or whatever.
Yeah.
So people have now gone into most movements with the goal of being as rigid as possible, right? Now, there's instances where being overly rigid aren't going to serve you very well. Like from a poor dog.
What just happened?
She just headbutted the coffee table. So then there's this instances where being overly rigid isn't going to serve you.
Yeah.
Now you can break down stability, in my opinion, to global and local, and then internal and external.
Yeah.
Right. So internal is like our ability to stabilize without any help.
Yeah.
External is the ability to use other other things, pieces of equipment, structures, whatever you want to call them, to help. And then global is like whole body, localized is a particular area.
Yep.
So sometimes, like if we look at, let's say, a lateral raise. So lateral raise, if I took the idea of more rigidness equals better movement, I'm going to pin everything down and pin everything back.
Yep.
So we know when we abduct the arm, the shoulder blade's supposed to glide out.
Yeah.
So what do we do when we be as rigid as possible? We depress and retract.
Yeah.
So then when we abduct the humerus, not only do we move in a line that's probably a bit, questionable in terms of like, does it complement the muscle that we're working? We also restrict range of motion in the exercise.
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, well, do I just need a little bit of localized stability? Can I just relax and let those shoulder blades go free, create a little bit more stability wherever else, and then just move in the way that I should? So in my opinion, stability when it comes to resistance training is the ability to resist force through motion.
Yep.
Right? So we're going through motion and we're resisting force, whatever that force is. And I think that is a better construct of what we're trying to do in training, especially when it comes to resistance training. Even like, even a good example like localized stability would be a bicep curl.
Yep.
So bicep curl, we want to pin the shoulder blade down because if we don't pin that shoulder blade down, we're going to lose loading through the bicep because once that scapula kind of comes up, like elbow flexion, the tension goes away from the bicep. So that's another instance where just localized stability is good. Global tension, something like a squat is good, or globalized stability, a squat is good, something like a deadlift is good. So it's just about understanding like who needs what and when.
Yeah.
And the person, so where I was going with this before, with the skill, is who can actually do it.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I put out a video during the week while the boys were down, helping Giannis get more rigidity on a chest-supported row.
Yeah.
But it was interesting listening to this discussion. It's like that was probably an oversimplification in that the rigidity comes from the anchor points, but there needs to be an allowance for movement because we were allowing our like spinal flexion extension throughout that movement.
Yeah.
So it's like we're not creating the max amount of rigidity through the movement as such. We're creating an anchor that's super rigid to maximize the amount of force that we can produce.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. What layer to add to that?
Yeah.
Because the way I explained it in the video is like you should be searching for the most amount of rigidity possible, but that has a caveat of still executing the technique correctly.
Yeah,
if
and
the technique requires you to go through spinal flexion throughout, that means you don't have rigidity through the spine.
Yeah, and you would have been looking at that through the lens of like, you need what you need to be rigid, but then you need what you need to be moving.
Yeah.
You know, but we just never like go into those definitive, like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
So you would have been thinking about that.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, one, we wouldn't have said it when we were working out. Like, that was in between sets.
Yeah.
And then two, it's like, no one's probably sat back and thought about it. So I was like, okay, I'll piece this together. Cool. And then it's like, it gives people, not even just in terms of exercises, but probably what their expectations of the lifter would be through a movement, and how you would, you know, explain, even show, if you're in a face-to-face setting, instructing cues. So like those key elements of a personal trainer. Like you look at movement different.
Yeah.
You ask questions differently.
Yeah.
You tell people before the set, you know, you give them different things to be conscious of. And that changes how they move, and it obviously changes their results long term. So yeah, I think when we look at like the skill of the lifter, we have to really unpack like their ability to expose tension to those muscles, and that's going to be whether they can create that tension themselves and resist that force themselves.
Yeah.
Or if we need to find some external stability, where do we find it for them?
Yeah.
I think
what you were sort of touching on there as well with like someone who's got a proficient squat and is very good at squatting, their ability to create that internal stability without the reliance on a machine or something like that to provide it for them, their ability to do that movement allows them to accept heaps of volume because they're efficient at doing it, and they're good at it, and they can create lots of stability, which means they can create lots of mechanical tension, which means they can create the stimulus that you're looking for from a hypertrophy sort of realm.
Yeah.
But like you said, someone coming back who's just relearning to squat and all that kind of shit, it's like, can they actually get to that zone?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's interesting. Because I've been in environments where even when we've trained together, like back platinum days when we're doing the workouts there, it's like my second squat day was a hack squat. And it's like you would have at least 2 plates extra on the hack squat than me. But I'll probably put 2 extra plates on the squat.
Yeah.
So it's like understanding, or where are we going to get the most amount of mechanical load or whatever it is you're targeting for that movement at that part of the workout. And
the other thing, the other rabbit hole you can go down here is my perception of how hard the hack squat is going to be very different to yours.
Yeah.
So that's going to change the amount of recruitment that I get in that exercise compared to the squat.
Yeah.
So you not only are more skilled in the squat and I am more skilled in the hack squat, but you're going to think how hard the hack squat is, or you're going to think the hack squat is harder, and I'm going to think the squat is harder, and that's going to change the fatigue element of the movement, because your perception of effort is going to be greater. So when I get under a bar, it's going to be like, oh, fuck, my elbows hurt. Oh, fuck, I can feel this in my chest. Oh, fuck, you know. And all of those things are changing how I see that exercise and how I'm going to perform.
Yeah.
And then that obviously changes as you get more skilled and, you know, you do the movement and get graded exposure and whatever.
Yeah, but I'm just on the hack squat worried about shit in my pants.
Well, yeah, and then I'm on there going like, I can bury myself on this and be okay.
Yeah.
You know, and I do this every week. And it's really, it feels nice, you know, as well. So there's that, like, how the person perceives the exercise is really going to alter the recruitment. And it's going to alter how hard that person can train and how close that person can get to recruiting all of those muscle fibers and exposing all those fibers to a degree of tension needed to facilitate growth, or a graded ability or a graded amount of tension that's going to elicit a grade of stimulus for growth. Because you're going to get a low grade stimulus and other people are going to get a higher one.
Yeah.
And that's just how hard they can push themselves.
So I know you had notes, but I'm going to ask questions anyway.
No, it's all right. These notes are just here just in case I forget what I'm talking about.
So with all that said, I'm curious. There's obviously a sliding scale and there's no one answer to this question. But a client says, I don't like that exercise. It doesn't feel good. I don't enjoy it.
Yep.
That kind of feedback. The people I work with, predominantly a general hypertrophy, maybe with a little bit of like specificity around like, it's usually glutes, sometimes back, sometimes shoulders.
Yeah.
So if someone says they don't like X exercise, I would say 8 out of 10 times I would change it.
Yeah.
Because it's like the way you apply yourself in your training is more important than the specific exercise that I've selected to achieve that outcome. It's like if you don't like an RDL, I can find like the one I get heaps is like dumbbell RDLs.
Yeah, because of the grip.
Yeah, it's like okay, just use bar, like whatever.
Yeah,
like,
a trap bar's good.
Yeah,
if you got one. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm curious. Like, do you have like a checklist to go through with an individual who says like,
they don't like
I
the
don't
exercise?
like this?
Yeah, definitely.
And what is that checklist, I guess?
Yeah, so the first thing you would want to ask them is why they don't like it. Because most people don't like stuff that either they're not good at, or they're doing wrong.
Yeah.
So firstly, you would want to unpack that. Is the exercise part of a muscle group that person is typically weak in? Because if they are, it's like, yeah, well, you don't like it because it's
shit at it.
You shit at it, and your muscles fucking show it because they're not big enough, comparative to the rest of the stuff. So it's like, I don't like training arms. My arms are dog shit compared to chest.
Yeah.
And I can train chest without even like consciously trying to train it.
Yeah.
And I like training chest.
Yeah.
I like training quads.
Yeah.
And like, it's not an accident that they're more dominant muscle groups on my physique. So
it's an interesting chicken or egg, that one, hey? It's like, do you like training chest because you have a big chest and you feel good connection, so it's fun?
Yeah. Or do you
have a big chest because you like training that movement, so you've done it more?
Yeah. I think it's probably a combination of the two.
Yeah.
If you got the leverages, which we skim over in the presentation as well, if you have the leverages, you're probably just by accident going to fall into movements and like them.
Yeah.
Because we like the shit that we're good at, and we like the shit that feels comfortable.
Yeah.
So for that instance with that person, it's like you've got to go there. Just like, look, I don't want to say this like and hurt your feelings, but it's like, if you look at your weaknesses of your physique, it's this muscle group, and this particular exercise targets that muscle group. So do you just not like it because you're not, comparatively strong compared to other movements, or it feels harder or whatever? And then obviously you would look at the technique. You'd probably look at the technique first, or you'd unpack those two things at the same time. Because it's probably like they're doing the technique wrong anyway, and they don't like that muscle group. Yeah. So then, like if you can overcome that, if it's an exercise that you think is a really desirable one for that person, whether it's just like access that they have in the gym, because that's another consideration. Like people obviously can only train with what they have available to them.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a gym that's got like, all these machines and shit, and you don't like cardio, it's like, well, fuck, I hate to break it to you, man. Like, you train at a fucking CrossFit gym that's got a couple of machines.
If
like,
you want a big ass.
Yeah, it's not a bodybuilding gym. It's, you're not training at a fitness club where it has like, 40 different machines for, 8 to 10 different muscle groups. So you're going to have to be, you're bound to what you have access to. Yeah. So you've got to overcome that. So you would kind of look at that. Then you would look at, is there another movement if that person can? Is there another movement that can elicit that same outcome? Which is generally in bodybuilding there is. That's why it's a really good thing. That's why most bodybuilders never address injuries, because they just train around them.
Something else, yeah.
Yeah, because you're like, cool, you can't train over your head, just, go on a separate angle, or use the machine and, neutral grip. So
I feel like that loaded hinge is the one, though. Hey, like, of all the exercises, like, the loaded hinge is the hardest to replace.
Yeah. It's the hardest to replace, but you can work around it. Yeah. Because you can train your glutes in isolation, you can train your back in isolation, and you can train your hamstrings in isolation. Yeah. It's like, realistically, you don't have to hinge to do bodybuilding.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's why most bodybuilders don't hinge.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see them doing ridiculous amounts of, like, you see them do deadlifts and stuff, but, like, there's not really much else. Like, and they can get through a whole prep without it.
Yeah.
Because you can just break it up. But the thing is, it takes time.
That's probably also why they all have fucked backs.
Yeah, they probably can't bend over and shit.
They haven't actually fixed the fact that they can't hinge.
Yeah. So it's like a blessing and a curse to be able to kind of change things and work around stuff. But you just got to kind of have that. And then I guess zooming out a little bit globally, it's like, how valuable is doing this movement going to be for that person? Like, a lot of my clients don't like lunging or unilateral movements. So I like unilateral movements that move in a direction. So generally forward, but sometimes like sagittally is good too, because it's like, it's as close to walking and a natural kind of gated movement that we're going to get. And what do we do as bodybuilders? Everything is fixed. Everything is like bilateral, really. So it's like that pelvis is never really getting an opportunity to kind of like go forward and backwards a lot. that's why maybe they can't fucking walk more than 10 minutes without their back getting pumped. It's like, we don't do anything like this training. We don't progressively move like this. So
I see it all the time with powerlifters post-comp as well.
Yeah, and it's everything you've done is just fucking, that pelvis is just moving forward and backwards together.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that there's a little bit of value in that as well. It's like, look, man, like, I know it's hard, I know it's uncomfortable. I know there's probably a better movement in terms of fucking getting close to failure and shit like that, whatever. But it's like, it kind of needs to be done, you know?
Yeah. And I think if, again, like looking at exercise selection, if you're looking at somebody who's only done both feet on the ground, move in straight lines, like you can go in steps. You don't have to go straight to the long stride walking lunge.
Yeah.
That's fucking super challenging. You can do a single leg press. You can do like lots of different variations in between before you get to that stage.
Coming up with ideas as we're doing this shit.
So, you're going to have to rewrite it again.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm like, I'm actually, I just got an idea and I'm like, I missed something.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say, so when you say you like a movement that goes in a direction, one of my favorites for that intervention is the reverse lunge.
Yep.
So I just think like it's the most effective glute exercise of that variation that I've found.
Yeah, front foot elevated too.
Oh, yeah. If
just a small
if they've got it,
100%.
Yeah, like 10 kilo bumper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking to a client about this last night.
If you have a safety bar.
Yeah.
Elite. But if
Very
not,
good.
goblet loaded.
Yep.
But for like that rehab kind of zone, you can load it well. It's repeatable. It's really easy to. It tends to encourage them to move into a glute dominant movement rather than like the quad dominant that everyone chases. In a
it's a
lunge.
good primer as well. Like,
but even as a warm up or whatever.
It's a great primer. It's like, you know, you could do that as like your first exercise, and it's like, you know, maybe that person doesn't need to spend fucking 10 minutes doing whatever. Yeah. It's like, do your step back lunges, fucking go get after it. You know?
And even the variations like Hatfields and stuff like that, like you can, it's really loadable if you do provide a little bit of that external stability. Yeah. So those who don't know what a Hatfield is like you just grab onto the rack basically. Yeah. And you're not obviously not stepping into it's not active anymore, the reverse lunge, but you're just using that as stability and fucking going to town. Usually like pulling yourself out of the hole because you're buried. Yeah. Doing the rest of the movement.
So yeah, like that would be what I would do if someone, because sometimes people don't like it for whatever reason. Yeah. And then you want to pick a movement where like 9 times out of 10 that person's coming in and like, you know, getting pumped up and is willing and able to do it. Yeah. But like, if you're just being if you're just cheating yourself because it's fucking hard, it's like you're going to struggle to build a good physique anyway. Like you're just removing everything that's like challenging because it's hard. It's like, fuck, I don't know if this is the game for you. Yeah.
What's up, guys? Another quick break. I just wanted to jump in and remind you guys about the STCfit Learning Mentorship. Now, our mentorship's been running since about 2016, where we've developed trainers through their first year of business in personal training and allowed them to leapfrog the first 5 years of mistakes that we made. If you're currently studying, looking to finish in the next month or so, or you're looking for someone to help you out with mentoring and all that kind of stuff, jump on, have a look at the details for the mentorship at stcfitlearning.com. Head to programs and mentorship and all the details are there. And you can come and be an STC Fit coach for an entire year. Includes all of our education and direct mentoring from our head coaches. Back to the episode.
You know.
So as per the trend of this podcast, we're going to now dive down into talking about me.
Yeah, sweet. Strap in, guys.
So I think what might be valuable is like, so I come to you.
Yep.
Powerlifting history.
Yep.
Powerlifting background.
Yep.
Maintain-ish some strength, but been running, been doing movements. And I say to Jace, like, I don't care about being fit. I don't care about golf. I don't care about anything anymore. I just want to have a massive upper body.
Yeah.
Where do you start? What is your thought process? And not in terms of like volume allocation or anything like that, but like you look at me and go, right, these are some clues that I'm going to follow to program for this person.
Yeah, so assessment of the physique is important. So like, you know, big back, big quads, big glutes. So it's like
big quads, guys.
Yeah. when we're looking at the shape, especially like
just only from halfway up the leg, nothing around the
halfway
knee.
up the quad. Another example of where muscles don't grow evenly. Look at some powerlifters' legs, especially if they don't like deep squat.
Yeah.
So that gives us indications of like, okay, so this person's done a lot of back movements, is really strong in that portion of the range. Same with your squat. It's like you're going to be really strong from like hip to knee, like in terms of like the depth, like that first part of the squat.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, probably not going to be that strong from below the hip downwards to like arse to cuff kind of situation.
Yeah, yeah.
So in that instance, and same with the chest, it's like not only like have you done a lot of chest movements where like that rib cage has been like, you know, extended and elevated, we got to kind of sometimes look at the structure too. So we can just look at that structure of the chest and it's and the rib cage, and it's like, all right, well, sometimes Ben has to lift his rib cage to kind of get that chest or that pec exposed to tension. We now can just put him in a position that challenges it without having to always lift his chest up to get strong in that movement. Because the thing that differs from strength training to bodybuilding is that bodybuilding doesn't have that, like, I need to move the weight. You know, like, yeah, sure, in your program, but your sole intention of powerlifting is to get up on that platform and move the weight. So when you go to training, you're going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I have to move this from A to B. And yeah, there's constraints in technique, but at the end of the day, it's like...
The technique's designed around moving the most amount of weight, not loading musculature as much as possible.
Yeah, you doesn't matter how you lift it as long as you lift it within the criteria. So we got to take that into consideration too. So then I would basically piece together some movements that, one, you like to do. So I'd be like, hey, Ben, you know, tell me 3 of your favorite exercises. And you would say deadlifts. I'm sure you would say bench press, maybe. And then you might say something else. So I'd put them in the program, 100%, because you got to like to do it. And then after that, I would piece together, okay, so like, you know, lateral shoulders need a little bit of work, rear delts needs a little bit of work, upper chest needs a lot of work, hamstrings need work, like we need deeper stretch positions of the quad to build that kind of lower musculature, and then the rest of it, we just kind of do what we need to do, build the arms and, you know. So I would be selecting movements that challenge those areas.
Yeah.
So it might be a pendulum squat to get you, like, you know, arse to grass that can reinforce that position because the machine just does it. Like you're forced into that position, and you can progressively overload it. For your chest, it's like putting you in positions where you're not actually elevating your chest, and you can actually let your, you know, shoulder blades freely kind of move around the rib cage and not, you know, extend through the lower back. So it's just about selecting those movements that challenge the muscles in those positions. And making sure that you're really conscious of that too. Yeah. Is there anything else that like I missed or didn't?
I don't think so. Is there? Do you pay much attention to the access to strength that somebody has? So like myself, or like you, obviously you're working with Jacko, who's got a powerlifting background as well.
Yeah.
Versus someone who's maybe just done physique training or isn't well trained. Maybe they've come from like group classes or like are not strong. Like, are you like, we need to prioritize a focus on strength, on movements that are going to facilitate more strength production in the long run, or is it just like it's the same approach and you'll build strength in those movements anyway?
I personally think you can do either.
Yeah.
I personally think you can do either. I think at the end of the day, if you went like, this person's not strong but you know, building this strength and then exposing these positions you know, through tension is going to build this physique. I think you could just be like, let's get in these positions, expose them to tension and progressively overload them at the same time. I think both instances would lead to the same outcome physically. One person's going to be stronger than the other though.
Yeah.
So it's about what
strength.
So it's about what do they value.
Yeah.
You know, because if you got a client who's like, I don't really care how much I lift, like I'm just a vain motherfucker who wants to look great, which is perfectly fine, by the way. I literally work with
Jason.
80% of the people I work with just want to look good. It's okay. Yeah. You know, so then it's fine. It's like if someone says to you how much you bench and you say I don't know, it's all good. Like, but you look great. You look like you can bench a lot. It's totally fine. So, but like for someone who's like, I want to be strong, I want to be this, that's awesome, and that is also really good goals to work towards, to be the total package, to be strong, to look strong, you want to do that too. So that's where the programming just changes, and that's why I asked.
It's interesting. Sorry to cut you off. I think what we touched on earlier was like it's not necessarily like you're still trying to get stronger. You're still going to progressively overload in your program. You're still going to try and build volume load, all of those kind of metrics that we always track. But the technique is designed for different outcomes.
Yeah.
So it's not about how do I put myself in a position to maximize the load I can move here. It's how do I put myself in a position to mechanically load a muscle.
Yeah, and you can meet in the middle. Like Jackson's a great example of that. It's like, mate, fucking go for it on your deadlifts.
Yeah.
You've got 3 sets and you do 1 top set.
Yeah.
So you do like 2 good mid-stimulatory sets and 1 maximum one.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah.
And then it's like, right, the rest of the stuff's like, I'm targeting this, I'm targeting that, which is a really important paradigm that I put as a lens to look through your exercise selection. So when we look at exercises, or when I look at exercises and I'm encouraging other people to look at them, there's 3 categories really. There's loadability, access to ROM, and output.
Yep.
So you're really turning dials. So loadability is like, how much mechanical tension can I expose to these muscle fibers? Whatever muscle fibers are in the movement, whether it's multiple muscles and multiple muscle fibers or a singular one. A singular muscle group, sorry, not a singular muscle fiber. That'd be quite impressive. You just do this one. Access to ROM is like, okay, cool. Like, what part of the muscle length are we really targeting? Like, are we targeting length and position because that's an advantageous thing to do for that muscle? Shorten position, mid-range, whatever. Mid-range is generally going to be good for loadability anyway, so you'd probably be wanting to be accessing ROM elsewhere. And then output is like, okay, well, I may not be able to accrue mechanical tension through large amounts of weight because that might be really fatiguing for whatever reason, time constraints, whatever.
Yeah.
So how can I accrue volume load?
Yeah.
And typically that's going to be machine-based movement or something that's going to be working more in the mid-range of the muscle length because we're very strong in there. So we're going to select certain exercises. We're going to do that. So that's going to be your bench press, your vertical chest press, your seated cable row, your chest-supported row, something like that. It's like you can just fucking dip and rip on a chest-supported row. It's like it's not really kind of taking the muscle to a really long muscle length or a really short one.
Yeah, like a leg press as well.
Yeah, exactly, like a leg press. Where like something that's going to be really good for loadability is, if we look in that same realm, is like a barbell squat if the person's got the proficiency to do it, a deadlift, a pull-up if someone's got the strength to do so. So you're selecting these movements based off that. So I really like that idea, and I think that it takes just the complicated layers out of like, what, strength curves and blah, da, da. It's like, hang on a minute, why? And how? So someone like Jackson or you, it's like, cool, deadlifts, you guys are going to have fun. Get into that loadability section. It's going to tick a lot of boxes too. And then it's like, cool, for yourself.
And be fine the next day.
Yeah. And then for yourself, it's like, cool, well, access to ROM and even probably access to ROM and localized tension could be kind of wrapped into the same group. It's like, all right, well, upper chest. So, we put you on an incline. Your feet are going to go up. So there's no ability to incline. So, we might do the feet variation where you're on the dumbbell rack. And it's like, cool, a neutral grip, semi-neutral grip overhead press, or even a cable where there's like a little bit of kind of protraction as we come across the body. And it's like, that's going to be really challenging for someone like yourself. Not really going to get a large amount of loadability, but we're going to stimulate those fibers in a particular portion of the muscle length, or bias a region of that muscle more so than others. Because like, it's not like the bottom of the chest just doesn't work. It works.
It's a bias.
It's just like biases that upper portion. And it's like, again, it's like muscles don't grow evenly across the muscle length and the muscle shape, which gives us an indication that regional hypertrophy exists. So how we train and how we move is the biggest influencer of that. So that would be, and then again, it's like the loadability. It's like, okay, the output part. It's like, all right, how do I accrue volume load here? Little bit of machine stuff, a little bit of mid-range, like free weighted movements. If that person likes it, warrants it, needs it, has access to it, there's your movements. Pick what you want, put them in your program, design them in the way that you see fit, whether it's, muscle focus first or it's complexity of movement first. Use a program. you know, and then volume constraints and all that shit on top.
Awesome.
So that's how I would do it.
Mic drop.
Yeah. Other elements to consider would just be like, you know, understanding motor unit recruitment, size principle, length tension relationship, muscle strength curves of movements.
Yeah.
So all of those things are important because it's like, where's the peak force in the movement and where's the peak force that the muscle can produce, or the peak strength within the muscle length? Because then you look at, you know, like this exercise is going to be good for this portion of the range. Like a squat's good for like lengthened position of the quad. It's not that good for a shortened position.
Yeah.
Leg extension is good for that.
Yeah.
Even like you can look at like how machines are good and how they're not. And even just like doing a rep on a through a movement, if people are like, I don't really know where the peak force is. It's like, just do a rep. Like, where's it hardest?
Yeah.
It's highly likely going to be that position. And it's like, okay, well, look at the muscle length. Like, where is it? Is it in its really lengthened position? Is it mid or is it short? It's like, that gives you clues.
Yeah.
And then, it's a blessing and a curse because you can
get really
assess.
salty in
Yeah,
every
you
gym
can
you go
assess
to.
gym equipment that's fucking terrible. It's like, this counterweight's too fucking heavy.
Yeah.
But you understand why and how. And I think that that's a really valuable thing to do as a coach.
Yep. That was awesome. So if you are in New South Wales, we'll be in Penrith on the 2nd of December. Tickets. So you just head to the website /events, Tam, stcfitlearning.com/events, and you'll find the link that you need to purchase a ticket. It's not expensive.
But it'll be valuable.
And come along. It'll be cool. 2nd, 3rd interstate workshop.
Yep.
Yeah, so it'll be cool.
Definitely.
Back in
Pumped
the
as. Pumped as.
Yeah.
Can't wait. There's so much more I could have spoken about. So, like, now you're going to come to the workshop.
Yeah,
If you've been wanting for more.
I distracted him enough that he couldn't actually do the presentation, so now you have to come.
Yeah. You're going to want to come.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you,
See
everybody.
you next time, guys.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tag, do all those things. Ciao.